Coping with loss, the grieving process. At some point in life, everyone experiences loss, whether it's the death of a loved one, a job loss, or a relationship that ends. The way you deal with loss can have a considerable impact on your overall well-being. In this video, Coping with Loss, the Grieving Process, we explore how loss can affect you and offer tips on how to handle the process. What is loss? When someone mentions loss, many times, we immediately think of a loved one passing away. And yes, the loss of a loved one can be devastating, but loss also can come from many other life events, including divorce or breakup, loss of health, loss of a job, financial loss, miscarriage, and loss of a pet. As devastating as loss can be, sadly, it's part of being human. People cope with grief in their own way, and it may not be the same way as someone else. Some people will get solace in dwelling on happy recollections, whereas others get solace from the help of others. Remember, getting through grief takes time, no matter what coping strategies you adopt. At times, the process will be uncomfortable, but it will heal you in the end. What are the stages of grief? Regardless of how well prepared you are, a loss is a difficult experience. Nonetheless, knowing the stages of grief and embracing the process can make it a little easier. Renowned Swiss-American psychiatrist Elisabeth Kubler-Ross was a leader in researching terminally ill patients who were near death. She became famous for her theory of the 5 stages of grief, discussed in her book on death and dying. These 5 stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. It's important to note that not everyone will experience all the stages, and they may not be in order. You can also go back and revisit an earlier stage of grief. Denial. Denial may be useful in the early stages of grief. In this earliest stage of grief, your brain is trying to protect you from the intense feelings of pain. Life might seem meaningless, incomprehensible, and unmanageable. You begin to reject the truth, thinking this can't be happening. You may wonder if they made a mistake and your loved one is still alive. Maybe you think your loved one will walk through the door, claiming it was a practical joke. Anger. Anger and grief can be pointed in many directions. It can be directed at doctors, family members, and even God. You may be thinking, why has this happened? Who can I blame? Though some people may feel guilty about feeling anger, it is a normal response. Bargaining. Bargaining might entail trying to regain control of different aspects of your life. Someone might make deals with God or pledge to follow treatment. Depression. Depression is coming to terms with what has happened. Depression can manifest itself in many ways, including sadness, fatigue, or not being able to experience pleasure. Depression can also cause physical health problems such as insomnia and weight gain. Acceptance. Acceptance occurs when you come to terms with the loss and no longer struggle against it. You'll let go of the person but hold on to the memories. Remember, the grief process takes time, no matter what strategy you adopt. At times, the process will be uncomfortable, but it will heal you in the end. Symptoms of grief. When a loss occurs, grief may manifest itself both emotionally and physically. Feeling overwhelmed or sad, being weepy, and having a sense of detachment are some of the most common signs of grief. Emotional symptoms of grief. Anxiety, depression, emptiness, fearfulness, guilt, hostility, irritability, and restlessness are all emotional symptoms of grief. Physical symptoms of grief. Changes in appetite, changes in sleep habits, headache, sleep disturbances, insomnia, lack of energy, lack of motivation, nausea and vomiting, skin rash, weight loss, or gain are all physical symptoms that may be experienced. Recurring grief or anniversary grief. Some people experience grief 1 year after their loved one has died. This type of grief is often called anniversary grief or delayed grief. Thoughts, remembering them fondly, and memories, of happy moments shared, are 2 types of physical reminders of the person who has died and often surface close or on the anniversary date of the loss. If you are coping with anniversary grief, it is important to remember that you are not alone. There are many resources available to help process your feelings, including support groups and books. Ways to cope with loss. There are a variety of ways that may help make the change loss brings easier. Focus on taking one step at a time, so you don't become overwhelmed. Stay active. Take walks, exercise regularly, stick to a daily routine, as this will help you feel less anxious and overwhelmed. Support groups. A bereavement support group will let you stay connected with others going through the same thing. Talking with friends and family members. Therapy. Talking with a mental health professional or grief counselor can help you get through some of the rough patches. Writing/journaling/painting. Writing is a great way to discharge intense emotions. It is helpful in reflecting on your thoughts and feelings, helping children grieve. It isn't easy to lose a loved one. Children who are still growing and developing may find it even more difficult than adults. During this trying moment, ensuring that your children receive the assistance they require is critical. It's so important for them to express emotions and discuss their feelings. As time goes on, instead of dwelling on the sad aspects of death, assist them in discovering ways to enjoy good memories of their loved one. Life beyond loss. Be kind to yourself. Don't try to accomplish everything at once, no one can. Give yourself the compassion you so much need. Don't keep your emotions bottled up. Let yourself grieve in the way that feels right for you. Remember that as difficult as it is, you can handle it. It's okay to be sad and depressed, but as time passes, if those feelings control your life, seek out professional help. As you process your grief, healing will slowly happen. You won't feel like this forever. Know that no matter how hard it is to believe, it will get better in time. Let go of unrealistic expectations of yourself and where you believe you should be in the grieving process. Remember that coping with loss is a journey, not a destination. Know that your feelings are normal, be they sadness, fatigue, or even anger toward your loved one for leaving. Grief is a roller coaster ride. Some days you'll be doing fine, and the next thing you know, you're in the throes of distress, feeling overwhelmed and possibly depressed. Conclusion. The process of coping with a loss can be difficult, whether it's a death, a divorce, or a loved one moving away. Remember that grieving after losing a loved one is a normal process that may take some time. Although grieving may seem like a never-ending process, life will slowly return to its normalcy, and with time, you will eventually reach acceptance. We hope this video, Coping with Loss, the Grieving Process, has offered you some useful coping tools. To read the complete article, see livingyourSeniorLife.com. Thank you for watching.